Hey guys, ECRG here, and today we're going to be talking about being a CRA with a family. Hey guys, ECRG here. Today we have a viewer submitted question, and the person asked, being a CRA with a family, is it possible to be a CRA with a family? And the answer to this question is, it is possible, but it's very, very difficult. Now, before I expound on that a little bit, I just want to say that we do have a resume review program going on right now. You can submit your resume to eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com. We've had a number of submissions come through already. And if you're interested in getting into the clinical research industry, this is a great thing for you. We will review your resume, beef it up, put a lot of the information that it needs to be on there that not a lot of people know about to enhance your resume and overall make it more appealing to recruiters and hiring managers for the position that you're looking for. So email us there at eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com if you're interested. But is it possible to be a clinical research associate with a family? Yes, it is possible, but it is very, very hard. It is very hard to be a clinical research associate and maintain a reasonable life, social life at all outside of the job. It's very hard if you're married and no kids. It's hard if you just are in a normal relationship. It's hard. So when they say 75 to 80% travel, they mean that. That's not a joke. That literally means 75% of your working time, you work 5 days a week, to 80% of that time is going to be travel. So what is that, 3.5 to 4 days out of the week? They're not lying. I recently had a friend who said that she was gone for 12 days consecutively. That includes weekends. So this job is no joke. It is very hard to maintain a family being gone 75 to 80% of the time. Very, very hard. If a lot of you are married to a business owner or some sort, or maybe a doctor or some sort, it's very hard for those people to maintain families and maintain a normal working social life outside of a relationship as well. Outside of the job as well. This job is similar to that. You're traveling, you're like a musician or an artist or basketball player. It's hard for these people to maintain relationships because they're on the road so much. Clinical research associates are just like that. They're literally gone so much of the time. And when they're gone, they're working a lot of the time as well. They have to work in the hotel. They're working on planes. They're tired when they get back. All they want to do on the weekends is sleep because they have to gear up to get back on the road once they go back to work on Monday. It's very hard. Not to say it's impossible. It can be done. There are obviously clinical research associates out there with families, but it's not easy. And that's part of the reason why a lot of people, they get into it, they do it for a number of years, and then they get out of it. One, they're tired of being on the road all that time, especially if you're a female and you do want to have that family. A great time to get out of it and go into project management, which is also very difficult. That's another topic for another day. Or become an in-house CRA or a clinical trial lead. There are positions out there where you're not doing as much travel, but if you want to, make some good money, be able to travel across the country, sometimes the world, and I'm talking about United States here, sometimes the world, internationally, clinical research associate is a great job for you. And it's great. You get to meet a lot of people from across the country and across the world. You get to have a very fruitful career. You get a lot of perks being on the road that much. But one of the I guess the cons of being on the road that much is your social life will tend to suffer, especially if you have a family, if you're raising kids on the side. Not to say it's impossible, but it is very, very hard. So maybe we'll do a video on some tips on how to do that in the future, how to maintain the work-life balance there. But it's very, very hard. They say 75 to 80% travel, and it's definitely that. It's very rarely, unless you're under allocated on studies, where you're going to be doing any less than that. Occasionally it can be more than that if you want it to be, but sometimes there are positions where they will say something like 35 or 50% travel, and those are good for people with families who want to be home a little bit more. I've seen CRA positions with even less than that, very, very rarely. Most of the time they do say 75 to 80% travel. But keep in mind, when they're talking about that travel requirement for a clinical research associate position, that's for real. They're not joking when they say 75 to 80% travel. So just keep in mind that comes with the territory. That's part of the job. And that's that. I mean, if you really want to have a family, clinical research associate is probably not the best career for you at that time. You could do it for a little bit, then get out. That's great. A lot of people do that. But if you're intent on having a family right now and you want to be a clinical research associate right now, I would strongly suggest you rethink that and maybe either wait on the family part right now, put that off for a couple of years, or become an in-house CRA, or go down the project management route, or any of the other number of positions that don't travel as much in clinical research. Because starting a family and being on the road 75 to 80%, and then the time you're back, the 20% you're back, you're going to be very, very tired, and it's going to be very hard to do all the family duties and everything that you need to do there. So strongly consider that. Thank you for this viewer that submitted this question. Please submit more questions. You can comment down below, or you can email us at eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com if you would prefer for your question to be made into a video on the channel. So appreciate you guys listening. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on the podcast, leave us a review, please. Leave us a review if you're listening on the podcast. But don't forget, you can also listen to us on the podcast, or you can listen to on the YouTube as well. We're here for you. Thank you guys. Take care.